Welcome back to the channel. My name is Thomas Fletcher and I'm the host of the Military Social Work Network. If you're new to the channel, please do me a favor by smashing that like button, by subscribing to the channel, and by sharing this video with your social work colleagues and friends. The purpose of this channel is to create a community of support where military and aspiring military social workers can come for relevant news, information, and inspiration. Well, I'm very excited to be kicking off our Women's History Month Military Leaders series. So in today's show, we will be talking about the life and the service of the first female military service member to achieve the rank of general. In this case, brigadier general. Okay? So that person that we are going to be talking about today is Anna Mae Hayes. So let's talk about her. Brigadier General Anna Mae Violet Hayes was an American military officer who served as the 13th Chief of the United States Army Nurse Corps. She was the first woman in the United States Armed Forces to be promoted to a general officer rank. In 1970, she was promoted to Brigadier General. Hayes paved the way for equal treatment of women, countering occupational sexism, and made a number of recommendations which were accepted in the military policy. All right, so let's review her life. Anna Mae Violet McCabe was born on February 16, 1920 in Buffalo, New York, as the middle of 3 children in the family. Her father was Daniel Joseph McCabe, while her mother was the former Maddie Florence Humphrey, who was of Welsh descent. Both her parents were officers of the Salvation Army. During her childhood, the McCabe family moved several times in the western New York and eastern Pennsylvania areas, but settled in Allentown, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania in 1932. She had an elder brother, Daniel Joseph II, and a younger sister, Catherine Evangeline. Hayes attended Allentown High School, now William Allen High School, graduating with honors in 1938. Hayes had a love of music, playing the piano, the organ, and the French horn, and wanted to go to Juilliard School to study music, but due to a lack of funds for tuition, she decided to pursue nursing instead. Following her high school studies, Hayes enrolled at the Allentown General Hospital School of Nursing in 1939, from which she graduated in 1941, having obtained a diploma in nursing. In May 1942, she joined the Army Nurse Corps and was sent to India in January 1943, serving with the 20th Field Hospital to the town of Lido in Assam. The hospital was stationed at the entrance to Lido Road, which cut through the jungles into Burma. The living and working conditions were somewhat primitive. The buildings were made of bamboo, and dysentery, leeches, and snakes were common, particularly during monsoon seasons. Just over 2 years later, in April 1945, she was promoted to the rank of First Lieutenant. After serving 2.5 years in India, Hayes was on leave in the United States when the war ended. Remaining with the Corps, she served as an operating room nurse and later as a head nurse at Tilton General Hospital at Fort Dix, New Jersey, as obstetrics supervisor at Valley Forge General Hospital in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and as a head nurse at Fort Myer, Virginia. In August 1950, she was deployed to Incheon to serve in the Korean War. She was posted to the 4th Field Hospital for 7 months, and later described the conditions in the hospital there as worse than those in India in World War II due to the cold temperatures in the operating room and a lack of supplies. During the next 14 months, she and 31 other nurses treated more than 25,000 patients. As she had done in India, Hayes spent some of her off-duty time in Korea assisting chaplains by playing a field pump organ for church services, some of which were held on the front lines. Following her tour in Korea, Hayes was transferred to Tokyo Army Hospital in April 1951 and served a year there. A year later, she was transferred to Fort Indiantown Gap, Pennsylvania, as an obstetric and pediatric director. After graduating from the Nursing Service Administration course at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, she was appointed head nurse at Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C. emergency room, where she served as the head nurse of the radioisotope clinic. During this time, she was selected as one of 3 private nurses for President Dwight D. Eisenhower after he became ill. On her retirement, she said that this experience was one of the most memorable of her nursing career. She earned a bachelor's degree in nursing education in 1958 from Columbia University and a Master of Science in Nursing degree in 1968 from the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. In October 1960, she became the chief nurse of the 11th Evacuation Hospital in Busan. From 1963 to 1966, she was assistant chief of the Army Nurse Corps. In July 1967, she was promoted to the rank of colonel. And on September 1st of the same year, she was appointed chief of the Corps, a position she held until her retirement on August 31st, 1971. During the Vietnam War, Hayes traveled to Vietnam 3 times to monitor American nurses stationed there. She also managed the development of new training programs and an increase in the number of nurses serving overseas. On May 15, 1970, President Richard Nixon appointed Hayes to the rank of Brigadier General, and on June 11, 1970, she was promoted at a ceremony officiated by the Army Chief of Staff, General William C. Westmoreland, and the Secretary of the Army, Stanley R. Reesor. Following Hayes's promotion, Elizabeth P. Hosington, director of the Women's Army Corps, was also promoted to the rank of Brigadier General. Hayes said in her address to the gathering that the general stars reflected the dedicated, selfless, and often heroic efforts of Army nurses throughout the world since 1901 in times of peace and war. After her appointment, she asked to be dropped off at the Army Officers Club front entrance, countering the prevailing occupational sexism. Although entitled to enter and use the club before, female officers were expected to come through the side entrance. Hayes made a number of recommendations regarding the treatment of women which were accepted into military policy, including not to automatically discharge officers for becoming pregnant, and not to determine appointments to the Army Nurse Corps Reserve based on the age of the nurse's dependents. In addition, regulations were changed to allow spouses of female service members to claim similar privileges to spouses of male service members. So, General Hayes has a very inspirational story for all of us. She really does. She served during World War II. She served during the Korean War. She served during the Vietnam War. Wow. 3 errors. 3 major war errors she served. And she did her job again. She showed up. She gave it her all. She inspired others around her. You know, her life was one of excellence. And where she saw injustice, she spoke up. And that's why I'm talking about her in this. And that's why I'm very privileged to be starting off Women's History Month by talking about General Hayes. She's definitely a trailblazer, definitely somebody worthy of our attention, and again, a life of great inspiration. So I want to thank you all for watching this video. For all the social workers out there, thank you for the work that you do every day for your clients, for your agency, and for the profession. Please continue to support each other and yourselves. Bye for now.